of Yahweh's word. You've got covenant breakers here and covenant breakers there, in my humble opinion. It's just another form of rebellion. Shalom, everyone. This is Teddy Wilson here at Seekers of Yahweh Ministries, and welcome to this live recording of The Color of an Israelite. We'll call it that. We know that there are many organizations rising up throughout the United States and in the world abroad that claim that the black people are the true Judah, or many of them use the term Jews. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be taking that, many of their theologies to the chalkboard. And what I'm going to do is take scripture, history, and we're going to pull up a clip. And what we're intending to do is say that, okay, well, there are black Israelites, and there are white, Chinese, Hispanic, there is no color and no way to prove that through the bloodlines that are extant in the world today. There is no way that we can prove the original color of an Israelite. Now, I'm going to just take a quick stab at this Jewish thing. We already know those who say that they are the true Jews. That word Jew is almost just as new in its usage as the letter J. Prior to just several hundred years ago, there was no J. There was no such word called Jew. And we've also already proven that excuse me, remember, I'm still getting over a cold as well, so forgive me about that. But we've already proved that the terminology Jew and Jewish did not exist in the times of Yahshua and prior to that. So if you would like a link to that teaching to disprove this Jewish nation of people, then just send me an email at seekersofyahweh@outlook.com. Or you can give us a call at 208-553-8393. Matter of fact, on the Facebook and YouTube page, you can ask for it there in the comment section. Once this is reposted, I'm going to leave the comments open for this. Okay, so normally I don't do that because of all of the trolls and hateful people out there. But anyway, I'm going to leave it open. And if you want what I'll do is I'll actually put it in the description box, the link to Israel versus Jew. Okay, so I'll make that available for you guys as well. I first want to present a bit of a disclaimer. What I am teaching is that this world, it shall bear witness very soon that our faith is the foundation of warriors. And those warriors come from every tribe, color, tongue, nation, and people that stand for the kingdom of Elohim. Okay, that's what I teach. And in this belief system that I'm teaching is a refuge established by those who were or are willing to lay down their own expectations in this life. And the reason for that is to walk with Yahweh, as well as bringing others into that path and walk with Yahweh. What I'm saying is that the established belief system that was handed down through Adam, Noah, Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov. That is what I am presenting to you people. All right. And it has nothing to do with Yahweh is not black, white. He is Ruach. He is breath. He dwelt in a body that was a sacrificial element for our redemption. And it doesn't even matter what color that body was because it died. Okay. And the reason why it died was to show us that no matter what color you are or where you live or what nation you're from, you will never enter into his kingdom in that fleshly body, and that fleshly body will never gain you the right to enter the kingdom of Yahweh. Okay, so without his works, none of it is possible, no matter what color you are. What I'm going to be doing at the end is I'm going to be running a screen sharing with you a short video to prove the racial hatred of this specific movement. And what we're going to do right now is I'll just lay down a couple of facts from several. Not all of them believe the same, but I'm going to lay down a couple of their theologies, and we're going to get with that first thing during this Seeker's Quick Study. So the majority of them say that Abraham was black and he was a Jew, and that the white man is of the Esau or Edomite descent, and the white man is the devil. And what I want to do is propose a question to each and every one of you that are watching this live. We'll watch it in the repost now or in the future. So let me get this straight. Abraham was black. Isaac, black. Jacob was black. But Esau, who was born at the same time as Jacob, was not black. Okay? That is the implication. That Esau who became Edom, was the red hairy white man, and the red hairy white man is the devil. Okay? Now remember, this is some of the schools of thought within this religion. What we must do is find out who Esau is, what he has become, and where he came from. All right. So, wow. I mean, so you're saying that Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and all the forefathers were black, but Esau is this white devil, red man with hair. It's just, even that in and of itself is almost ludicrous. It's crazy to believe this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at before how history shows and scripture shows that before the Exodus, Edomites were already in the tribes of Israel. Do you understand? Prior to the Exodus, Edomites were already in the tribes of Israel. Okay? And if Jew stood for the tribe of Judah, which it doesn't, we've already proven that in the video. If you think that Jews are from Judah, then you're already in error in this concept, no matter what color you think they were. Okay? Then we're going to look at the descent of one of the leaders of the tribe of Judah and prove that there was not one color that had been sustained during their captivity in bondage in Egypt. All right? Praise Yahweh. So, grab your scriptures, everybody, and turn to the book of Numbers, chapter 13, and let's begin to scripturally disprove this nonsense. It's just nonsense. You know what? I love black people. I love white people. I love everybody, no matter what color you are. And the reason why I must love you is because my Mashiach has died for you so that you can enter into the same kingdom that I am, no matter what color we are in this physical body. Turning to Numbers chapter 13, we'll be reading verses 1 through 8. This is right when they came out of the Exodus, and they're choosing leaders from all of the tribes to go in and spy out the land. Beginning in Bereshit chapter 13 at verse 1, and Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, send men to spy out the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the children of Israel. Send one man from each tribe of their fathers. Did you see this? Did you see that part? It's very critical that you understand what we just said. Send one man from each tribe of their fathers. Everyone a leader among them. So only the guys who were knowledgeable in the Torah, were steadfast in the walk, and were known leaders in every tribe could be chosen to be the leader of that tribe and going out to spy out the land. These were leaders. All right. Verse 3. And by the command of Yahweh, Moshe sent them from the wilderness of Paran, all of the men who were heads of the children of Israel. Everyone. So now we're about to go down the list, and we're going to see who was chosen to represent the tribe of, they say, Yehuda. And this is not Jews of today. Okay. Again, if you haven't seen that teaching that we just did on Israel versus the Jews, please, it'll be at the bottom. I'm going to write myself a note. It'll be at the bottom of the repost of this once we run it through our editor on YouTube. Or again, you can get a hold of me at seekersofyahweh@outlook.com or 208-553-8393, and I'll make sure that you get the link to that teaching. All right. Now, and the whole point of these Seekers Quick Studies is to meet things directly, put all the evidence on the table, and say this is how we confirm or disprove any type of theology without going into one of my PowerPoints that out in the sanctuary that could last, hour, 2 hours at a time. This is actually very easy to understand, everyone. We're going to use the scripture and the genealogy of this man who was a leader over or in Judah. Verse 4, and these were their names. From the tribe of Reuben, Shemua, son of Zakur. From the tribe of Shimon, Saphat, son of Hori. And look here at verse 6. From the tribe of Yehuda, Caleb, son of Jephunneh. That's our beginning point. We're going to see who this leader that was chosen from the tribe of Judah, who he was and where he came from. Verse 7, from the tribe of Yishakar, Yigal, son of Yosef. And verse 8 says, from the tribe of Ephraim, Hoshea, son of Nun. Now, so here we see in verse 6 that from the tribe of Yehuda, a leader whose name was Caleb was the son of Jephunneh. Okay, so now let's go over to chapter 14. And we'll get a little scriptural proof for this as well. Numbers 14:6. And Yahushua, son of Nun, and Caleb, son of Jephunneh. So here we have the same guy, once again, confirming that he was a son of Jephunneh. Now that we have confirmed that he was the son of Jephunneh, let's go ahead and go to Numbers chapter 32 and gather a little bit more information about Jephunneh. Numbers 32, verses 10 through 12. Bimidbar, chapter 32, 10 through 12. In the beginning here, if I called Bimidbar Bereshit, I apologize. But we are going to Bereshit, and I have it very clearly on my mind. Okay, so we're going to systematically pull this in and disprove this false concept of the color of an Israelite. I would submit to you that you cannot prove the color of the Israelites in any one of these bloodline things that you find online. It's impossible to find out if you're a Levite, and I have my reasonings behind all of that. If you're a Levite, son of Aaron, all of those things, you just can't prove it. And this is going to help establish that fact. All right. Now, once again, Bimidbar, chapter 32, verses 10 through 12. Then the displeasure of Yahweh burned on that day, and he swore an oath, saying, not one of the men who came up from Mitzrayim from 20 years old and above is to see the land of which I swore to Abraham, Yitzhak, and to Jacob, because they did not follow me completely. All right. Except Caleb, son of Jephunneh, the what? Kenizzite. He was not an Israelite. They were sojourning in the tribe of Judah during the time period of Egypt. And I'll submit to you that how this happened is when Egypt began to conquer other nations and everything, where do you think that most of the slaves that were taken ended up? In the land of Goshen, making bricks with the Israelites. Okay? It's a no-brainer. All right. So again, we see here that Jephunneh, who was the father of Caleb, was a Kenizzite. That means that he is a descendant of Kenaz. You can also get your second verification of this Kenizzite root from Joshua 14, verses 6 through 14. That'll be another proof text for you. Now we wanted to look at this Kenaz, and we're going to see that Kenaz was an Edomite. Okay? So now you see their whole doctrine and theology on that Jews or Judah was originally black is starting to decay right before our very eyes. There's no way that you can prove it. It's impossible. We've already got Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They say it was all black. But then Edom, Esau, right, wasn't. He was white and red hair, and he was the devil. And all of his seed is the devil, and that is the white man. It's, I mean, it's crazy. It's ludicrous to even fall for any of that. All right, now, so let's go to Genesis chapter 36, Bereshit, chapter 36, beginning at verse 1. And this is the genealogy of Esau, who they claim to be the hairy, red-haired white man who is the devil. It says specifically in verse 1, and this is the genealogy of Esau, who is Edom. See, so they're saying that the white man is Edomites. That's what many of them are teaching. Some of them do not, but it runs along the same line of belief, and some of them don't even teach Messiah. So here in verse 2, you see Esau took his wives from the daughters of Canaan, Adah and daughter of Elon the Hittite, and Aholibah, the daughter of Anah, the daughter of Zebon the Hivite. Now, Come on down here to verse 8, and let's pick up right there. So Esau, remember who is Edom, dwelt in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. And this is the genealogy of Esau, the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz, son of Adah, wife of Esau, and Reuel, son of Bashmath, wife of Esau. And the sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zapho, and Gadim, and who? Kenaz. Kenazites are descendants of Esau, came directly from Esau's seed, who is Edom. Okay. Do you see what we just did? They're saying that Jews, or Judah, and Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and all of those guys were black. Okay? Even if that were the case, when we come out of the Exodus, what has happened to every tribe? We have leaders in the tribes of people when they came out of the Exodus that were in that specific tribe that they represented, showing us that they were of a different color, from a different nation, and had been established as leaders because they sojourned with Israel in captivity, and they became worshipers of Yahweh with their whole heart, no matter what color they were. Clearly, we see that there was an Edomite who had been appointed a leader over Judah, and we must then assume that there were Edomites in every tribe. They lived with each other for hundreds of years and married and buried and multiplied in seed. That was the reason why the Pharaoh began to persecute them, because they were outgrowing them, and they were strong and healthy and smart, and they could build, and they were becoming a threat to the Egyptians. So they enslaved them and gave them jobs. And all of these other men and from countries and women who they had taken into bondage as well were there with them. And they accepted Yahweh, and they accepted being a different. And how do we know that they did know Yahweh? Because they were still segregated as tribes when they came out. Everybody knew the root of their tribe. Every one of them. So here we see that you cannot prove, it is downright scripturally impossible to say that if indeed Jew meant Judah, that there was a specific color anytime after the Exodus. It cannot be proven. And what we do see is that this son of Jephunneh, who was a Kenizzite in his roots, a descendant of Esau, is the only one from out of the rest of the tribes that followed Joshua ben Nun into the kingdom. Now, so before I go to this clip to show the hatred of these people, it's crazy how they are able to get away with what they're doing out on the streets. I have no idea. If it was a white man, they would have us arrested and thrown in prison, saying the things that they're saying about another race. Also knowing they're saying that it was so corrupt in the days of Yahshua the Messiah that the Edomites were ruling the land then as well. I could agree with that to a certain extent, but here is my question. Here's another thing I propose. If the blacks were Jews, right, and they had the original authority of the Torah and the promises, then we have an Ethiopian man in a carriage coming back from worshiping at the temple that knew nothing. And he had with him a Torah scroll of Isaiah. And so according to their theology, then an Edomite catches up, named Philip, catches up with him by the calling of the Spirit of Yahweh. Yahweh sent Philip, who according to their theology was an Edomite, to run up and catch up with that carriage so that he could teach this black man the truth about Yahshua and teach him the words of Isaiah. He was an Ethiopian heading back to his country. This whole color thing is so easy to disprove throughout Scripture. Everyone, let me tell you who an Israelite is and always has been. An Israelite is a man, woman, or child that Yahweh's Spirit chooses to put its seed into. If you receive the seed of Elohim and you follow the rules of the land that was promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, then you rule with El, which is another way that you can translate Yisrael. It means to rule with El. An Israelite is someone in whom the seed is in and someone who follows the rules of the kingdom of Yahweh. That is an Israelite, no matter what color you are. Praise Yahweh for that. So in closing, I want to share just a quick clip here. There's so many. You can go into the search engines looking up these black Israelites and them preaching on the streets everywhere in the United States, and it's horrific. Foul mouths, cursing, scaring people. It is not of Yahweh.
If you happen to walk by, you're going to get a bit of shock treatment.
Shock talk meant to stir people of color into action. That's how Commander General Yohana, head of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, describes weekly protests he leads outside of the shops at Liberty Place in Center City. This video taken by the ISUPK is posted on the school's website and on YouTube. He says he and members of his Christian Bible school are well within their First Amendment rights. But shop owners say they've heard enough. Today in court, their lawyers argued the group is trespassing. In addition, they say the group's offensive language frightens customers.
They preach about how they hate white people, how they hate gays, how they're preaching calling women whores. I mean, really hostile kind of language that makes people feel intimidated and fearful, and that's not protected by the First Amendment.
We don't hate white people, but God hates white people.
Commander General Yohana says members of his group have never physically harmed anyone.
You white people can rest assured we're not going to riot. We're not going to burn down your cities. What we are going to do, though, is we are going to fix black and Hispanic people.
So there are so many other videos that you can go onto YouTube and other social media outlets to see the hatred of these people. It's nothing more than another rising of a Black Panther movement underneath the heading of Black Jews or Black Israelites. There is such hatred towards people, and that their vocabulary, the way they speak, cursing left and right, foul language. This stuff is not of Yahweh. So in this Seeker short clip, we've already disproven that there was any one color from the tribe of Judah. That is not provable anywhere in Scripture. And also, we see that it would be almost impossible to prove the ethnic color of any individual that came out of the Exodus. And that would mean that if there was intermarrying going on during that time period before they came out of the Exodus, then how can you prove a bloodline was pure prior to that? It's impossible. So anyway, I do pray that all of you have enjoyed this. Please share it, because we need to get this information out there. These little groups of Black Israelite haters are rising up all over the world, and it's time that we start putting stuff out there to debunk their accusations. So again, this is Teddy Wilson with Seekers of Yahweh Ministries. I do pray that This has been a little bit of information that you can use to share with others who may have problems in their areas, and this will give them enough firepower to actually confront these men on the streets, rather than to be attacked and not have any firepower to scripturally represent the one who they say they're representing when coming face to face with what seems to be the white man's enemy. And on so many different levels. I mean, it's not just them, and I pray for them that Yahweh would have mercy on them, and that Yahweh would reveal himself to them, and he would cause them to not hate white people or any other race of people, but that they would turn and love and teach with the same vigor, but turn and teach truth towards all races, all nations of people, so that the kingdom of Yahweh can be fulfilled in every part of the world. So until next time, may Yahweh bless and keep each and every one of you, and shalom, shalom.